Hello, welcome to the Right Click Save podcast. I'm, of course, your host, Calcio. Joining me, as always, is big man Jimmy T. How you doing, boss?
Really good. Just got back from Permissionless, didn't we, from last week? Had a really good time out there. I'm very excited about our guest today because it's always good to meet a fellow content creator.
I'd actually say today's guest is one of the greatest builders of our time. He's amassed a following based, I think it's over 100k now already, just based off of his Web3 comedy skits and his incredible sense of building. It's KMoney. How you doing today, Kevin?
Hey, what's up, guys? Thank you for having me. For anyone listening, I'm the one that doesn't have a British accent, so.
Well, that makes a change, actually. The amount of times I got at Permissionless called Australian, even by an Australian girl she asked me whereabouts in Australia I was from, which was weird.
So I reckon most of our audience probably know who you are, but for anyone that doesn't know what you do, could you just give us a quick summary on what you do?
Yeah, I'm just a comedian. That's currently completely obsessed with Web3, and I started changing all of my material and all the content I make just to reflect Web3 because it's what I'm most passionate about. So,
how did that, like, for you, just to take that back as well, how did you actually get into Web3? Do you remember the sort of first point you jumped in at?
Well, I first got into crypto in 2017, which was it was a great learning experience for me because I was able to lose all of my life savings. So I learned a lot. Not like Zagabond though, of course, but yeah. So and then I got back into crypto like it was at the end of 2020. Because like even though I lost my money, I still believed in the technology and I knew it was the future and I knew like eventually we would get there, but I just didn't have like the time or like the money at that time to do that. But yeah, I got back into crypto like late 2020, and then I got like heavily into like altcoins and meme coins, and I really enjoyed that whole phase. And then once like the market crashed last summer, I remember seeing and hearing people talk about NFTs. I didn't really fully understand it, but once crypto was like completely crashed, like I was just seeing like people still talk about NFTs, and I was like, okay, like if there's not opportunity here, like let me go see what's going on in NFTs. And then once I like minted and like flipped and traded and lost money on like my first few NFTs, like I became obsessed, and I realized because I genuinely did love like just trading crypto every single day, but nothing hit the same as like an NFT because it was like I got to still participate in like a potentially like lucrative opportunity, but it was like the community and like the memes and like just the shit posts and just like everything surrounding it was just like so enticing.
Yeah, absolutely. NFT Twitter hits so hard, doesn't it? Especially if you come from a crypto background.
For sure. It's not even close because it's like crypto Twitter is great too, but it's like crypto Twitter is just shilling essentially. Yeah. Like for the most part it's just shilling and then like shilling with memes. But then like NFT Twitter, it's like there is some shilling obviously, but it's like most of the memes in there, like they're all just like coping memes, and like it's hilarious.
100%.
How do you find, like, obviously, I know you've been creating comedy specifically for over 10 years now. Well, I had a little look through, I think it's just over 10. How do you find the audience difference? I know you touched on how crypto Twitter is different to NFT Twitter, but if we break it down a little bit more to your content, how do you find a kind of more native comedy audience towards just a Web3 audience?
So the biggest difference in like the audience for Web3 is I feel like Web3 audience is way more present because it's like if you're participating actively in like, you know, like Web3, you most likely like the percentage of people that are on like Twitter and Discord every day, it's like you're like extremely active, you know, everything that's going on, you know, all the alpha, you know, all the scams, like, you know about like every detail about what's going on. So if I'm to like make content regarding those topics, like you're so much more likely to just like have a full understanding and a full grasp about what is going on. So I think the presence is like the biggest difference.
Yeah, for me, it was like the appetite was just really there for content. I just started doing like a few little animations for people, and just people went crazy about them. And then there were like really quick, short things, pretty janky that I was putting out, and that was what really kind of turned my head and made me fall down this rabbit hole, quit my job, go full-time NFTs, produce the podcast and things like that. Just the appetite of people wanting content to ingest about NFTs is just massive.
And then on the flip side, I'm sure your appetite for creating that content in this space that you're also obsessed with was like extremely huge too.
Absolutely. I think, because crypto was a big kind of hobby of mine. Kind of, I've just been into it, same as you, since 2017. Went through that 2018 crash, the slow, drawn out, flat line, slightly down of 2018-19. But same again as you, just love the technology. And as an animator for my job, it kind of gave me that chance to kind of put the two things together. And yeah, that definitely my appetite for. And that's why I was working crazy hours.
That's the beauty of it too, because like you have like your background is in animation, so it's like I feel like whatever your expertise is in like Web 2, if you bring that over into Web 3, you're gonna excel so much more, because it's like it's completely niche down. And if you're already like an expert, or like put in your 10,000 hours into your craft prior to Web 3, then you're just gonna be like that much more of an advantage.
Yeah, it's been fun.
I think it's a massively underrated thing, what you've just touched on there, which is that it's really good to have a massive technical background and understand charts and everything to do with the actual market, but equally being able to come with a skill set and making that skill set work within Web3 is huge as well. I think both of you are a testament to that. But juxtaposed to that as well, how did you actually think your content would get on? Because we'd not seen, I know we've always had memes, we always have shit posts, we'd not seen anything quite like what you did. How did you think it would actually go down?
So to be completely honest, I didn't care and like didn't know, because it's like I was genuinely like doing it as like, because like for me, like when I'm not like I've had like depression and like mental health like issues I've like dealt with like my whole life. So it's like for me the biggest therapeutic thing was always comedy. And so when I was extremely active in like into Web3, and I was like working and flipping and trading and investing every single day, I was not like my comedy bucket was completely dry. And so like, because I was not like giving anything into that, so like for me, I just started making it because I was like, look, I don't know how this is gonna go, it's probably gonna flop, but honestly at least I'm working out that muscle of like comedy and content creation, but at least like the subject matter is something that like genuinely interests me. So for me it was like just straight up like a therapy.
This space is hard as well on the mental health for people, because it's so much more volatile than crypto, and crypto was already difficult on people's mental health, and especially with people constantly showing their ridiculous gains on Twitter and things like that. It's hard. You have to be strong to cope in this space.
Yeah, it makes sense. And then also like I think one of like the because like I was way more successful in crypto than I was in NFTs, because like the biggest learning curve for me to realize was like, at least with crypto, if you want to pull out of an investment, you could just pull out at any time, unless obviously there's no liquidity or if it's a rug pull. But with NFTs, it's like if you're like, oh, I need to get this liquidity back, you have to wait there for someone else to want to buy it. And sometimes like I have so many things in my hidden folder in my wallet that like I've listed and no one ever bought. So it's like,
yeah, I feel that, brother.
Yeah, it's especially harder in mental health, I feel like.
I think that's one of the things that's been really consistent throughout your content as well, to being totally transparent about how you feel, which for a lot of people, where it is an undoxed environment, where it's all about a lot of people wanting to be anonymous, I think one of the biggest things people have really resonated with is how honest you are about how you feel and about experiences you've had. And one of them is the thread you did quite recently on SafeMoon, and how your experience had led to a lot of issues for you. I guess what I'm kind of going towards is, how do you feel others can kind of take your content and learn, or at least feel a bit better about themselves now? Do you think there's much in your content that can help?
Yeah, I mean, my like some of my the favorite people who have taught me anything in life hasn't necessarily been like teachers. It's usually been like comedians, because it's like I think the best comedy comes from truth. And so like the more you could be honest and the more you could be like truthful about like your experience or about something, it's like people can learn from that truth. So I hope that, you know, like the goal for me obviously is to like, you know, entertain people, make them laugh, obviously. But if there's anything that they could kind of take away from it, or if like, you know, like my favorite thing, my favorite response is like when I make a video about like a certain topic and people are just like, that's exactly how I feel. And it's like, that's what I'm trying to convey, is that like, I'm sure that like, I'm just speaking my truth, and I know it's other people's truths as well. So I'm just trying to make that connection right there.
Do you think that you've got any particular comedians that have been sort of highly influential towards your content?
Yeah, for sure. I think like Patrice O'Neal, like Dave Chappelle. Man, I used to love like Chappelle's show. Like I literally watched every single episode that he's ever made, like at least 10 times. Yeah, like honestly, like everyone from SNL, like I really like Jim Carrey, even though I'm not that great at playing characters or anything, but I really admire and appreciate what he does. But I'm not too sure about like what comedians in particular that like have like shaped what I do. 'Cause like I just feel like I'm just like essentially like a mixing pot of like everyone that has inspired me before.
Yeah, nice, good answer.
I think one of the other things you've done really well is made the building thing really iconic. Like you've had like FaZe Banks do it, like obviously Steve Aoki's done it. How did that even come about? Was it just something you did once and thought it would work, or?
Yeah, it just came about from like when I went to NFT LA, and I spent like, I think it was like the first hour I was there, like the 10 to 20 conversations I had with like completely new people, like just trying to like mingle. In the first hour, like everyone, like I was just hearing the same thing, for the most part. So like I was just like, oh, like this is what everyone is doing, like everyone's building. Because like every conversation I have, I'm like, hey, like, you know, like, oh, like what do you do? I'm like, oh, I'm a content creator and I make comedy. And like what do you do? And like, oh, you know, I'm building this and I'm building this, and like everyone's just so serious about it. So like I just wanted to kind of just like take in that energy and just like put it out there, and I had zero idea that it would become a thing. I love that like so many people like tell me that I like ruined the word. So
it was such a catchphrase, and I mean you're absolutely right when you picked it out, because it is what everybody says, and now it's like people like are struggling to say it.
I won't say it. I literally don't want to say it. Like when we were at Permissionless, which was in Florida, right? We were there as a predominantly crypto event. Anytime someone said it, like half to 50% of the times people said it, people would start going like this. It was weird. And for you, that must be crazy, right? Because you started like creating, I know you've done comedy and you've been successful on TikTok, but in Web3 space, it was only February, I think late February, you started making videos. How was it when you went to VeeCon, where presumably a lot of people knew who you were? Was it quite a reality shock, or?
Yeah, to be honest, I genuinely like didn't expect that. Like it was like I didn't get noticed in public until like on the plane ride back from like filming with Aoki. I like got on a plane, and like some guys just like, yo, I love your videos. I took out like my headphones, and I was like, what? Because I was just genuinely like surprised. And then he's like, oh, like, you know, I forgive you. And I was like, what do you mean you forgive me? And he's like, oh, like I'm an Azuki mod. And like this was right after I did like that Zagabond video, and it was like so like that moment was like so surreal for me. And so like going into VeeCon, I maybe expected like to have like maybe like a couple of those interactions. It was overwhelming when I realized like how difficult it was for me to film, because like I was used to going to like NFT LA where like no one knew who I was, and I was just like running around the whole event like just carefree, like filming everything, and like people just thought I was crazy. Versus like at VeeCon, like it was like every few minutes I would like I'd be filming and I would have to cut it because someone would like come into frame to like take a picture, or like, you know, someone would like yell like I'm building in the background, which I love and it's amazing. But it was a pretty big reality check, and I'm so grateful for that though.
Yeah, that must be very affirming for you as well.
Yeah. I'm always like every time a person, like I still need to get over this like with myself mentally, but like I remember every time like a person would come ask to take a photo, I would always just be like, in my head, I'm like, with me? Like why?
Nice.
That's I guess the trade-off for being within, I don't like the phrase echo chamber, but in a sense we are, right, in that the space is one big conglomerate. And if you've been about in the space, you could scroll down your skits and you'd know probably 8 out of 10 of them at least. You could watch them and see them. So when you go to an event, I presume we're going to be at NFT and NYC as well, that's going to
Yeah.
be horrendous for you. You're going to get so many people because it's just all about NFTs as well. But like, I guess just scaling out a bit, looking at the market, how have you actually been finding it at the minute? Have you been participating as actively in trading and things like that, or?
So to be honest, I haven't been like trading as often as I was, because before I was just degening like way too much. Like I was just trading every day just to trade. So I'm definitely being more mindful about it now, because I want to be able to like have as much longevity as I can. So I think like if I do miss out on potential like flips or gains, like it would be better if, as long as I just have like more liquidity, like just to take care of myself. But I think like, I don't know, because it's interesting, because when I went to VeeCon, like that was like, you know, right after like Luna crash, that was after UST crash, that was after like, you know, ETH I think was like sub $2,000, like Bitcoin was like, the market was not looking great. But walking around, you would like think we're in like the biggest bull run ever. Like just with like the vibes were there,
Yeah.
like the community was there. Like people were just so hungry to like get to know each other and to like build connections and like meet one another. And so I feel like as of now, like regardless of what happens, like whatever the price of ETH is or whatever, how much volume NFTs have, I think there's still like more interest than ever.
Yeah. There's a definitely really strong backbone there at the moment.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you find that your increasing popularity and your increasing follower count and the fact that everyone knew you and recognized you at VeeCon, do you think that is going to affect the kind of content you create or even the trading that you do? Do you feel like you've got more of a responsibility there now?
So I'm it has been making me look at like kind of like areas in my peripheral that I didn't necessarily like notice before. Like before I was like, you know, I would always be like kind of like more open to like doing like videos like for projects or like with projects or like giveaways or like things like that. But now the biggest change that I would make in my content would just be like I just wouldn't like I only have like one more giveaway that I had like planned out that I'm just gonna do, and I'm never gonna do like a giveaway again, because like I just don't want to tie myself or associate myself with like any projects regardless of like how much I love them or anything, because I realize like people should only expect like content that's going to be entertaining or like real or honest or something from me. Like people shouldn't be following me to like, you know, like learn about like where to make money or anything like that. Cause like also I'm like a terrible person to learn that from. But yeah, but I think other than that, like I don't like, with the way I've been planning and like kind of structuring things, my goal like the whole time was just to like be able to like be as independent as I can. So everything I have done so far has like reflected that. Like I get advising like gigs and opportunities all the time that I always like have to say no to, and like paid promos that like I always say no to. So it's like I think the only thing that's going to change for me with like as my popularity grows would be like I would probably have more opportunities to like film or collaborate with bigger people, but I still wouldn't want to change like my content ever. Like
Yeah.
I would want it to like be like the way I'd want it to be.
Nice.
It's a difficult balance for sure, because you do need to make money, but at the same time, there is a real hard balance. And I think you're judged much harsher in Web3 than any other space I've been a part of in how you make your money, especially if you are as public as you are. Have you had any crazy offers yet? I know we don't need specifics, of course, but you must have had some insane DMs from people kind of offering you promotions and things.
Yeah, I get offers like almost daily now of like money that's like way more money than I currently have in like my bank account, that I just like, and it like hurts my soul that like I'm saying no. And I know like my first generation like immigrant father is probably like just so upset at me, like if he knew like the offers I had to turn down. But it is yeah, I'm like, there's a lot of opportunities, and it sucks because like I would like to monetize and like obviously like have like money like that, but I just do not want to risk like the long-term vision that I have for like my career. So
Yeah. How has your talking about your dad? How has your family been and your friends reacted to the sort of growth of what you do and the growth of it?
So I remember when I was like, when I first got into like stand up and stuff like that, like, you know, like my dad, he was like, he was fairly supportive, you know what I mean? Like, he was just like, oh, like you're gonna tell jokes, like, oh, okay, like like, you know what I mean, like just like the normal kind of like not as supportive as you'd like parent stuff, but yeah, it was like once I started doing things in like TikTok and I grew to like 400,000 followers, and like I would like tell him, I'm like, yeah, like that's 400,000 people, and he's like, that's people, like I'm like, yeah, like that's how many people watch my stuff. Like he was impressed, and then once I like showed him and like the growth and like that I've done so far in like Web3 comedy, he was like really proud because like I got him into crypto as well, and
Nice.
he loves it and he like really believes it. And he was just like because he's like an engineer, and he has like he has like a giga brain, and I'm just like more of a Chad. So like when he saw that, like, you know, like I was like creating content, but like in a space that like has like actual like utility and potential like in our world, like he was like really proud. So that's
Awesome.
been cool.
That's really cool.
It's lovely to hear it as well, that it's all about like positivity. Like, and what I mean by that is not in like an over the top way, but your messages consistently are good. There's no manipulation of I can sneakily make a load of money here, which you could. It's nothing about trying to find loads of opportunities to use your influence negatively, like plenty of other people have in the space. Equally, though, I just think, like, how do you feel your content will evolve in terms of long term? Are we ever going to see a K Money project? I've seen people often say like they'd love to be able to purchase your skits. Is that something you'd ever do? Because it is a much more pure format of financing, I guess.
People have been asking me about like a project, or like if I'm going to drop a project. Like conveniently for me, there are so many influencers before me that have gained an influence and immediately cash grabbed and ruined their reputation, so I was able to learn from them. But yeah, I was just like I've always wanted to do something in the space. I've always wanted to like build in the space, but I just wanted it to always be something different than what is available, because like I just think it's a disservice to just like the technology that we have at our hands, for me to just be like, oh, here's like a random like meme PFP project, like there you guys go. It just doesn't feel right. So yeah, soon.
Nice. I like that. It's a bit of alpha there, really.
Yeah, I actually haven't talked to anyone about this.
There you go. That's the influence we have.
That's how we do it.
The thing is though, like with your approach, I'm not really funny. It's fucking mental that you flew out, met Steve Aoki, went to a club with him, watched his entire set. That is pretty mad. Like that must have been pretty surreal from start. How did that even happen? How was the first contact made?
Man, so I remember I just like woke up one morning and I was like just on Twitter, and I remember just like refreshing my notifications at one point, and I just saw like oh, like Steve Aoki followed you, and I was like, wait, like okay, like this is probably like a fake bot or something. It's probably like some like bullshit like ape token claim that from a scammer. But then when I went on his profile, I was just like, oh wow. And then so the first thing I did was just screenshot it and put out a tweet saying this is like the end of my account. And then after I got like my shit post out, I just hit him up and I was just like, hey, like you know, like thank you for following me. I know this is like a big ask, but would you like to film something together? And then in the back of my head, like the goal was always to get him to film like a Top Signal video. And so when he responded and was just like, yes, I would love to, like, let's do a Top Signal video, I was just like, this guy is cool. Like he read my mind. And so like, yeah, we just like, I sent him like my info. His team reached out to me. He has an insane schedule. Like, I think he does like maybe like 300-ish shows a year out of the 365 days of the year. It's insane. So like when I was speaking with his team, like they literally block off his entire schedule every single day by the hour. So yeah, they told me of a potential opening. It wasn't confirmed, and so I just ignored like the like it not being confirmed, and it was just like, okay, I'm buying my ticket. So I bought my ticket. I got my friend Mike to I got his ticket too, and we just flew out to Vegas, and then luckily on the way there they confirmed it, and yeah, we just filmed. We waited in the lobby for him, and the whole time, like, we're just kind of expecting, because like, he's like a high level like celeb. So like we're just kind of expecting, because like they told us to wait by these elevators. We're like, okay, like it's probably gonna be his assistant or something. They're gonna walk down the elevators and they're gonna be like, okay, like we're gonna go up to Steve's room. Also, please make sure don't ask him any questions. Don't look at him in the eyes. Like these are the kind of things like we're kind of expecting. And then I was just so surprised when like while we were waiting there, like literally like Steve just like ran up to me and was just like, dude, I love your videos and all these things. So like it like. Nice. It like completely like just diminished like that like power dynamic, and like immediately like right off the bat I'm like, okay, like Steve Aoki's like a fan of me, and like we're like equals, because like I'm a fan of him, he's a fan of me, so like it would just felt like so natural. And then we went up to his like room on the 69th floor, and yeah, like when we got there, his team was just like, hey, like, I'm sorry, I know we said we have an hour to shoot, but like something came up and we have 27 minutes. Oh, and wow. I was like, okay, no problem. And then so I just like immediately like Mike got the camera ready. I was talking to Mike about the shot. I sat Steve down. I was like, okay, like this is what we're gonna shoot. This is what I want you to say. This is what I'm gonna say. And I just started like just directing it as quickly as I could. Nice. And then we just like filmed them like back to back to back, like as many times as we could. And then once I felt like we got like a decent shot, then we had a couple minutes. We were just like hanging out and chilling. And then the cool thing about Steve though is that like because like there was like roughly when we walked up, it wasn't just us in the elevator. It was like us and like 16 people or something. And so like when we got to the room, like as we're filming, like more people kept walking in. There was like 40 people, but like every person like Steve would introduce me to, he would just be like, oh, like this is Kevin or KMoney. He's like the funniest dude on like NFT. Like he would just like, anytime he'd introduce anyone to me, he would always like speak highly of me first. And then I would just like watch the way he interacts with like other people too. And it's like when he would introduce other people to other people, he would just like always give people their flowers as he's like introducing them. And like it made me kind of like realize why he is like so successful and why he's had so much longevity. It's because he just genuinely has a good heart and just treats everyone as equals.
Yeah, that's very cool. It's nice when you meet these people and they turn out to be actually cool, genuine people.
For sure.
The other thing it does really is it highlights how so far off people, and again, it's not just in our space, it is in any space, but you get the people, like you said, who become influencers, think they are the dog's bollocks, release some shit project, and then they disappear. And I think it does emphasize massively how important it is to take your approach, which is to go, this would be great right now and take a quick payday, but I want to last. I want to be appreciated by someone like Steve Aoki for longer than 5 minutes. I don't want to be some guy that he's irritatingly filmed with. Who would be your dream skit though? Like, if within Web3, let's not make it too broad because I know he's pretty good, Dave Chappelle. Within the Web3 scene right now, they can just be an NFT owner. Who would you go for?
Does Elon count? Because he's like more like it would I think it'd be Gary. Like I think if Gary and I made a video making fun of Gary, that would be like the dream situation for me.
That'd be great.
That would be amazing. Just having just chasing him round VeeCon 2023.
Yeah, or maybe it'd be kind of funny if I played Gary and Gary played the role of like a Gary fan or something like that. But yeah, I think anything with Gary would definitely be cool, because like, if you think about NFTs, like most likely, like at least like most like Web2, especially like they're like Gary's gonna be the person that comes to mind. So I think with like what I want to do as far as like unironically bridging the gap between Web 2 and Web 3, I think it would make the most sense to do like a Gary collab.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Did you meet him at VeeCon, or was he just
no? Yeah, no, he's like arguably like the busiest human being alive or something. Yeah. Like yeah.
In demand.
I literally like I watched him like just get like just go and like interact and like do things and have his team be like, hey, like you need to be here, and he would just like go to the next place and like he's busy.
That's this one of the biggest things I think as well that we notice the more and more you get into the space. That actually, if those sorts of people like Steve Aoki, good example, if they do have time, one of the biggest things they do really well is make sure that they will speak to people. Like Gary does loads of podcasts for just normal people, and I think that's probably one of the biggest things he's made a lot of his success off of, which is just being approachable. And I think again, like I touched on earlier with your content, it's that you are quite open about talking with your experiences and how you found just being a human being. Comparing now to say that January just after you sold your safe moon, how much better do you feel?
I feel infinitely better. I'm not sleeping still, but like the lack of sleep currently is just from like excitement. Versus like before, the lack of sleep was just from what am I doing? How do I fix this? Like what's wrong with me? Like just like all of like the negative thoughts, and like now it's just like all like the positive, like hopeful, optimistic thoughts. So I think like that's been a huge change for me. And yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, like it is nice like just being able to like unapologetically like do exactly what I want to do and like be who I want to be, which is like myself, and like just making content, and like people like that and people support that. So it's like it's a huge feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm glad for you, man. Absolutely. And I think the amount of effort, work and effort that you put in, you definitely deserve that.
Appreciate that. Appreciate you. And I hope you guys can experience just like everything like opening up for you as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I definitely can relate with that. I've definitely had along the route, because there's so many up and downs with the market and things that you do and things that don't go right. And I know exactly what you mean about those sleepless nights where you just sit there worrying about what is Calcio going to say next on the podcast, and but things like that. And no, I can definitely relate. And especially early days in it, I was that same giddy excitement about the space in general. And I think, and yeah, we hope to get there with our content too.
Amen. Yeah, it's a tough space, you know, because it's like there's so many things outside of your control too. So it's like when I was like just trading and flipping for a living, it was just stressful because it was like some days you're up and like some days you lost everything. So it's like and then like, you know, markets crash or like rug pulls. Like there's just so many factors that are outside of your control. So like that's why like I'm always like telling people, like if you are active in this space, it's like at least be doing something that like you are in control of, you know. Like for me, that's like content creation. It's like that's why I haven't been as focused, and like I don't care what the price of ETH is right now, because like I'm still just like creating content, and like that's the stability I have in my life.
Yeah, nice. What's your creative process like? Do you how do you come up with your ideas? Do they kind of like light bulb moments? You'll be doing it just scrolling down NFT Twitter, see the latest meme or the thing that everyone's saying, and think, oh, I've got to do a skit about that, or do you brainstorm a load of different ideas, or?
Yeah. So for me, any time like something is it has like a particular like topic, like let's say like, you know, like the Other Side launch or like Zagabond or any of those things, it's like obviously like, you know, I spend most of my time on like, you know, in this space, so like I know what's kind of going on, and I just like go and I research it. I like go in spaces, I listen to people, I like talk to them, I engage with them, I go in their Discord, like I'll like do some like research, but for the most part, yeah, like I feel like it just takes me like a few minutes for me to kind of like listen and understand and like get a grasp on something, and then I just like formulate like my like the direction I would want to go with like the content I would want to make. And then there's other things where like there's other like any other videos that I make that aren't based on like a certain like topic or moments or things like that. Like those are usually just like the rest of my comedy, that it either comes to me when I'm taking a shower, about to go to bed, or doing dishes.
Yeah. In the shower is definitely one of the places that I have like most of my ideas for stuff. I'm very much a light bulb moment kind of guy, and I get really excited about an idea, and now I've just got to do this. I've got to make it. And I think that was almost like with the animation for the podcast, with some of the content we put out. I think I'm not sure if you saw it. I did like a Mother's Day video for the Crypto Dads project, and it was basically took the Saturday Night Live video Mother Lover and just put an animation over the top of it, and that was really
I gotta see this.
You go, yeah, definitely gotta watch it. It was I was really struggling because they wanted some Mother's Day content, and I was like real creative block, and then it just had this light bulb moment. It was like, parody of that song would be amazing. And I just rolled with it and went for it, and it went down really well. But yeah, that was good fun to do.
Yeah, and honestly, like those are always like my favorite, because like anytime I feel like I have like those like light bulb kind of moments, like I feel like those are usually like the most like successful like ideas that I do have. I'm really strong about like always like just kind of like chasing and like executing like whenever you have like those moments. Not the best for my sleep, because like for me it's like I do wash my dishes like as much as I can. Like my girlfriend loves it because like I'm over here just washing all the dishes all the time. Like even like, and then but like for anytime I'm about to go to sleep, like I literally like, it's always like right when I put down my phone and I'm like, okay, like it's time to go to sleep. Yeah. And I close my eyes and I'm like right before I'm about to fall asleep, like I'll just have an idea and I'll just like go and I'll start writing it. Sometimes if it's like an amazing idea and I can't go to sleep, like I'll write it down and I'll just go downstairs and I'll like start filming it. But
oh nice, yeah. I like that. I gotta go film this. Sorry, babe.
Yeah.
No, I love that. I had a few recently where, have you ever woken up with an idea for one? Literally woken up, the first thing that's popped into your head is this idea for a skit.
Yeah. I have, and then it sucks because like if I don't write it down in like 30 seconds, like it's completely gone. Yeah. I like, I'm still to this day, I'm trying to remember like the idea of like some joke that I had before I went to sleep like last fall, and then I woke up in the morning and I forgot about it. And like I'm always just like anytime I'm like not doing anything, I'll just like think about it. I'm just like, damn, like I just know that was the best like joke I ever written.
Yeah, you got to like put a little notepad by your bed or something, or write them down on your phone. I think even like as the classic story of that is one of the really famous Beatles songs was that Paul McCartney literally woke up, or he might have been John Lennon, woke up with it in his head, and it was just like, we've got to do this song, and that was one of their most famous songs.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I remember like in that situation particularly, like I remember going to bed and be like, oh, like I should probably write this down. And I'm like, no, this is so good. Like there's no way I would ever forget this. Like this is the best thing I've ever thought about. And then forgot about it.
And on that is, so do you have like a favorite or least favorite skit that you've done out of all the ones? I guess favorite's a bit more positive. What's your favorite one that you've done?
My favorite one I've done so far, hands down, is the one with Elio Trades.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was my favorite because like I just genuinely, like I've been watching Elio's videos for years, obviously like learning crypto and things like that, but I was just so surprised when I met him in person and I saw like his like personality like IRL, and I just see like how funny he is and like how outgoing. Yeah. So like I like every time I think it, like I've never laughed so much editing a video, and I've never laughed so much filming a video. Like I remember like him and I would have to like constantly like reshoot because like we'd be across the street yelling at each other, and like as I'm saying my lines and the camera's on me, like he's just hysterically laughing, and like vice versa. Like when I was filming him, I was literally just holding the camera, but just like holding like my like laughter in, but like I was just crying.
I love that. I think we had Rob when we had Robbie on, one of our guests before, and when I was editing that, I was just in stitches. And when doing the animation, I have to watch it like 25, 30 times, and still by the last one, I was still laughing my ass off. So I knew it was going to be a good episode that we put out.
Yeah. Those are always like the best. Like the best piece of content is like if it makes you laugh, or like if you enjoy it, then like it already served its purpose. And like I feel like you should always like create from like that point of view.
Definitely. Now, there's one thing we do with all of our guests is we've got our trademark quick-fire questions, which is just 5 quick-fire questions about your experience in the NFT space. So I'm going to start firing them at you.
Okay.
So the first one is your worst ever trade in NFTs.
Always the same one.
I think worst ever trade in NFTs would probably be Bear Games.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Don't remind me.
Do you guys remember that one?
Yeah, it was probably my worst ever trade.
We suffered too.
Yeah, I bought. I think its all time high was like 0.6.
Yeah.
I bought. I want to say like 10 of them at
wow.
like 0.6, and then it was like 2 days later, I sold like half of them at like 0.1.
Oh, yeah. Was
Yeah.
that from the reason I did it was because of FOMO after Wolf Game. I had literally missed out on
Same
buying
here.
a sheep. I'd taken it to buy it a few times on my wallet, and the
Point
gas was
one
really
six.
high. It was 0.16. I was going to buy a sheep, and Wolf Game, the gas was $250. I was like, oh, I'll just wait until the morning. By the morning, it was 0.7. By the end of the day, it was like 3 ETH, and I was just pulling my hair out. So so FOMO'd hard into bear game, and then cat
Whale
and mouse game. Yeah, you did whale game. I didn't do that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I did bear game, whale game, fox game.
Fox game.
Yeah,
Was it
yeah,
the Wizards
yeah.
one was the only one that actually banged, I think, for after all of them, but even that didn't last, I don't think.
Yeah, I think always like for me, like the worst trades are always the ones I'm chasing something.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's flip it. Best ever trade.
Best ever trade. Damn. See, so like I'm notoriously known for not taking profits.
It's the
Which
hardest part.
I know it's the hardest part. So I think for me, probably like best ever trade was like it was like last September, last October. Dapper Dinos came out, and I minted Dapper Dinos, and then
Nice.
they went up to like I think like I want to say like 0.5, 0.6, and then they did an airdrop for like these like karma eggs, and there's only like 275 of them, and I ended up getting one of the drops.
Nice.
So I sold the egg for like 1.75 ETH.
Tidy.
So like yeah, and then I eventually sold like my Dapper for like another like 0.3, so I made like 2 ETH off of like a 0.05 mint.
Nice. That's good returns.
But I can't take any credit for the trade because the only reason it was like a good trade was because I was like selected to get like one of the airdrops. So
yeah, it still counts, I think. It still counts.
does it count? Okay,
Yeah,
cool. Yeah,
we'll give it
I'm
that,
a trader. You guys can buy my alpha.
So it sounds like you've done a fair amount of minting. What's the rarest thing that you've had on a reveal? Something that you've minted.
I got a 1 of 1 of a complete rug pull before, so that was great.
No.
It was worth absolutely nothing. It was the most expensive piece of nothing I ever had.
How gassed were you when it came out?
Dude, I was so gassed until I looked at the volume and I noticed no one cared. Like,
Yeah, I've been there.
yeah, and then yeah, I like part of me feels like I kind of like used up like whatever like rare like 1 of 1 NFT karma on that one. So
Yeah, it's gonna be like the complete opposite side of the scale for the rest of them now.
yeah, I probably have to mint at least like another 1,000 projects just to even like come close to that. So I'll let you guys know how that goes.
Maybe I need to add in a new question, which is what is the worst reveal you've ever had? Like number 10,000.
Oh God,
I've had so many top 9,000. You know, like 9,910. It's like yeah, great.
I'm trying to think like I don't like all of them. You know what I mean? Like everything I've minted, I guess. Like
Yeah. No, I feel that. If you could send one project to 100 ETH floor, so raise the floor price of any project to 100 ETH, which project would you select?
I'd probably do Cool Cats.
Yeah.
Yeah, cause like they deserve better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I feel like they're like definitely like overfudded.
Crazy.
Just from like cause like I remember when I first got into NFTs like last summer, and like obviously like I missed I came in like a couple months after like Bored Ape and like things like that. Like I remember like yeah, I've seen CryptoPunks. I remember like looking at Bored Apes and like just like okay, like this is stupid. And then it wasn't until I saw Cool Cats that for me I was just like I like this art like a lot, and it just kind of like stood out and like it resonated for me. So I feel like just from like a branding standpoint, like they have like a really strong potential to like actually be a brand outside of just Web3.
Yeah, it's crazy the amount of fun they've got. I completely agree with you. They just seem like really nice people as well that put the project together.
The nicest people, like the nicest community.
And they've had a few issues, but you know these things are complicated. I think this is why I call it what we're in at the moment is the age of entitlement, where everyone's like, I want this and I want it now, and if I don't get it, I am gonna fud the crap out of you.
Yeah, for sure. Which is also like why, like, you know, like it is also scary, like just like whenever I have the idea of like doing like a project or things like that, like that's always like the pushback of like, I'm just like, do I want to like deal with that?
Yeah,
you know, like yeah, like
it
I
is
think
hard.
like drift, yeah, like imagine being like Drifter shoots, like the FUD he got, like with people asking for utility of photos, of art, like it just.
I want to see that in like a gallery. You just walk up to like a, you know, Van Gogh and be like, what is the utility of this? Like, well, you hang it in your house or in a gallery or something. Yeah, but what else? You know, you just don't have it with anything else, do you?
When I go to Europe for the first time, I will be sure to include like a video of me at the Mona Lisa doing that.
Yeah, just like, hello, what is the utility? When moon?
Perfect.
And the opposite question: if you could delete a project out of existence, nobody loses any money. But if you could, like, you know, make a project not have happened, go back in time, kill the creator as a baby.
Pick someone.
Yeah. But then we wouldn't have Kevin.
Okay, like as like my name is Kevin, so like I will sacrifice my name because like $70 million
is crazy.
It's just
and
way
they haven't
too much
tweeted
money.
Since, have they?
No, they did. They did the space. They did that very special space.
Oh,
I didn't hear it. I guess it was. I think all the goblin stuff like took over more attention.
The goblin stuff is great.
Which is insane that like a space full of like people making like sounds and like moaning into a microphone got like more attention than like people trying to figure out like where their $70 million went. So
yeah. It's the appetite for meme in the space and for comedy. I mean, this is I guess why you know, why your content's been so popular, because people just love not taking themselves so seriously, and that's why I think these things have become so popular.
For sure.
I think with all the rug projects, it's important for all of our mental health that we don't make things too serious, that we try and keep things lighthearted, because it's otherwise it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, I completely agree.
It has been awesome having you on, Kevin. So good. I love your content. We're big fans. We're looking forward to more content you've got coming out. So yeah, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me on. It was a lot of fun.